Anyone remembers what we were discussing last week? You were not there, of course, it's okay. So, any thoughts what we did last week?
We discussed about Bhagavatam. The sages were performing the yajna. And Shankani asked Krishna about the question about people of Kali Yuga.
Yes.
He asked, in the age of Kali, the people are so dumb and their lifespan is so less.
Yes.
And they're also always in anxiety and fear. I think there is also another characteristic. And how do we uplift these people who are going to have miserable lives?
Okay.
And also Krishna, I think, answered Bhakti is down to you.
Okay. Good. Asmita, do you remember anything?
I think people like not animals but do the same things, like being very ignorant and
Yeah.
just sleeping, eating and defending. So how can we be beyond that, and how can we think beyond that? That's something that we need to understand. What is the level of true happiness? What is the true happiness? Because that's something that doesn't go and come back. It's the state that mind remains.
Yeah.
So I think that's something to be a kind of purpose of your life.
Good. So, the solution which was given to the sages who were performing this great sacrifice in the forest of Naimisharanya was that people should take to unalloyed and uninterrupted service to Krishna. That was the essence which was told. So one has to dedicate one's life to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we address as Krishna, and such service has to be unmotivated and uninterrupted. Because otherwise, life which is going on as such, even animals live that life. A basic life of eating, mating, sleeping, defending, ahara, nidra and bhaya and maithuna, these are anyway going on. One has to be seeking what is reality. Jivasya tattva jijnasa. So these are the following verses after what Ugrashrava told last time, what we discussed. One's activities in life should never ever be targeted towards basic forms of enjoyment, but it has to be always towards seeking something which is beyond the duality of this world. So Krishna says in Gita that because we are in touch with matter, matra sparshastu kaunteya, there is sparsha, there is touch. We are in touch with matter, because of which there is duality. Sometimes is happiness, sometimes is distress. Sometimes life is really great, sometimes is not so great. And this duality is what keeps a living entity in hook here. It doesn't matter how much one has achieved. Nobody can really tell, no, I have everything. Because there is always something which is lacking, and there is always an end. So, irrespective of how much we accumulate, one point of time there is an end. So that duality of beginning, end, happiness, distress, somebody honoring us, somebody dishonoring us, ridiculing us. So this is part of our life, and that's how life is designed. So life's goal then has to be beyond this duality, and that's what Ugrashrava Sutta is telling. One has to seek tattva, jivasya tattva jijnasa. seeking cannot be targeted towards how do I enjoy better, because that seeking is going on everywhere. Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jijnasa na artha yascheha karma bhihi. There is no meaning. If someone is not thinking in a way that, yes, I'll put my efforts now, best efforts possible in actually seeking the truth, if someone is not living like that, there is no meaning to life. And of course, we can tell, no, there is a lot of meaning in other aspects of it, such as, yeah, I get a lot of salary, I have a great family, my house is great, I have a resort, I have a boat, I have this, I have that. So a lot of temporary things put together doesn't make it eternal. Right? You have to really understand this. You can put a lot of things together which are temporary, but that does not make the equation as eternal. It's like you put 0, 0, 0, 1 more 0, 100 more zeros, 1,000 more zeros. It does not add any value. So temporary things put together cannot create eternity. It cannot. It's very simple, right? So that's the message from Gurushrava. You need to then really, to understand reality, you need to get into reality and you need to bring reality into your lives. It cannot be that just stay in duality, exist in duality, function in duality, but want eternal happiness. Not going to happen. It's never going to function like that. It's just very simple logic. So what should one do then? Right? So as the solution, it's then proclaimed that one has to really surrender to the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. Many times people have not heard of Bhagavatam. People in general, they don't know what is Srimad Bhagavatam. Many times people confuse with Bhagavad Gita. They think, Bhagavatam is also Bhagavad Gita, or is a part of Gita, or maybe part of some literature. So, just clarifying, Gita is part of, or Bhagavad Gita as it is known, is a part of Mahabharata. So in Mahabharata, when the battle in Kurukshetra was about to begin, the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, which was telecasted in an advanced technology which we don't have access to right now, through the disciple of Vyasa by the name Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra. Right? So the opening and closing remarks in Gita is from Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra. It's their conversation which is going on. Because Dhritarashtra was blind, he couldn't watch. So Vyasa gave a divine vision to his disciple Sanjaya, who could relate what's going on in the battlefield to Dhritarashtra. A part of it, Sanjaya was describing the entire battle. The beginning section of it, when Arjuna gets into a state of total confusion and not knowing what to do, how to do, and Krishna answering him after Arjuna surrenders himself. The dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, that is Bhagavad Gita. Now Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the Puranas. This is different from Mahabharata. Mahabharata is considered as history. It is part of a historical evidence which happened around 5,000 years ago. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam is a Purana. Purana by definition means something which is very, 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 very old. Right? So there are 18 Puranas which are all basically old stories. Very old stories. Just to give you the context of it, Srimad Bhagavatam, what we have access to, is a very old story starting with the current day of Brahma. The present day of Brahma is referred as Shveta Varaha Kalpa. So Brahma's day is categorized into kalpa. Each kalpa is categorized into manvantaras. So one manvantara means one Manu for the universe and one Indra for the universe. All the Saptarshis, the principal devatas, they all change every manvantara, including Indra. There are 14 manvantaras. Each manvantara is categorized into 71 cycles of Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. And right now we are in 28th Divya Yuga. So these four combined together is called as Divya Yuga. Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. These four together is called as Divya Yuga. 71 such combination make a Manvantara. 14 such Manvantaras make one day of Brahma. Yeah. Now Kali Yuga is scheduled to be at 432,000 years. Dwapara Yuga is the double of the amount of Kali Yuga, which is 864,000. Treta Yuga is 3 times the amount of Kali Yuga, comes to around 1,200,000. Satya Yuga is 4 times the amount of Kali Yuga, which is 1,600,000 odd. But put together is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 10. So 10 times the time of Kali Yuga, which is 432,000, is 4.32 million years. Right? That is the size of or the amount of one. No. Huh?
One kalpa.
No. Kalpa is day of Brahma.
1 month.
No. This is one Divya Yuga, right? We were just talking about just Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. Right? So Kali Yuga is 432,000. Double that is Dwapara. Triple that is Treta. 4 times that is Satya. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 10. So 10 times the amount of Kali Yuga is one Divya Yuga. Now 71 such Divya Yuga make one Manvantara. Yeah, that's Manvantara.
What is Manvantara?
Manvantara is the age of Manu. Right? One Manu rules the universe. So right now the Manu who is leading our universe is Vaivasvata, the son of Vivaswan. His name is Shraddha Deva. Previous to this was Chakshusha. First one in this cycle was Swayambhuva Manu. Right? So 14 Manvantaras, 71 Divya Yugas. So if you multiply 14 by 71, you get 994 is the answer. So 994 Divya Yugas plus every time when there is a Manvantara and there is a shift in Manvantara, there is a time gap. And they need to account for the change in the ruling, like who is doing what. All the divisions of the departments are all given to proper persons, proper handover is done. Right? So in that, there is a need of at least 6 Divya Yugas. So 994 plus 6 Divya Yugas it takes for every time there is a change, right? So from Manu to the next Manu, in between there is a time. So in total that amounts to 6 Divya Yugas. 994 plus 6 is how much? 1000. So 1000 Divya Yugas make one kalpa. That is one day of Brahma. So 14 Manvantaras or 1000 Divya Yugas. Now one Divya Yuga was 4.32 million years, right? So 432 into 10 or 4.32 million years. Now 4.32 million multiplied by 1000 is simple. It's 4.32 billion years. That is the day time of Brahma. It is one day of Brahma. He sleeps also for the equal duration. So that put together is 8.64 billion years is one day of Brahma. Right? Now like that, he lives 100 years. Right? That's just one day. So now our Brahma has already passed. His 50 years has been done. Right? He is in just after 50 years is the first day. He just got done with his 50 years. Right now, what we are is Shvetavaraha Kalpa. This is the first day of Brahma after his 50 years. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam just speaks of only this. So right now we are in 28th Divya Yuga in the cycle of 71 Divya Yuga. Every Manvantara has 71 Divya Yuga, right? We are in 28th Divya Yuga of 7th Manu by name Vivaswan or Vaivasvata Manvantara. Okay. So Srimad Bhagavatam then is speaking of 6 Manvantaras in full plus 28 Divya Yugas. Okay.
Everything.
Whatever is the most important thing which has happened so far, which is relevant for a human to know, is being described. Some of the most important things. So that is Srimad Bhagavatam. Now this one was described in detail from a person by name Shukadev to a person by name Parikshit. Parikshit was a king. His name was Parikshit because when he was in the mother's womb, his mother's name was Uttara. Parikshit was son of Uttara and Abhimanyu. So this is how it is related to Mahabharata war. Abhimanyu was killed in Mahabharata war, but by that time Uttara was already pregnant. When the war was over, there was a person by name Ashwathama who wanted to just annihilate the entire Kuru dynasty. So he attacked the camp of Pandavas. Pandavas on that night, they decided that they have to be camping at the other side, their cousin's side. So they were camping at that side because they had won the war. Rest of the people were all in the tents for Pandavas. And Ashwathama comes in the night, he just slaughtered everybody who were there. He killed the 5 sons of Draupadi, he killed the 2 brothers of Draupadi, and every single warrior who were there, they were all killed. And after that, even that didn't give full satisfaction to Ashwathama. He thought, no, I need to also kill the embryo in the womb of Uttara so that the entire Kuru dynasty is annihilated. There is nobody else afterwards, right? Because everyone else had died. The entire side of Duryodhana, his sons, Shasana, his sons, everybody, they were all killed. Nobody is remaining anymore. Ashwathama felt, there is one last seed to the Kuru dynasty which is there in the womb of Uttara. Let me just kill that also. So he released a precision weapon, a Brahmastra, to go and attack the womb of Uttara. And Uttara felt unbearable heat, and she realized that somebody has really sent a precision weapon to kill the embryo. So she takes shelter of Krishna straight away. And Krishna is Paramatma. He goes inside the womb of Uttara, and Krishna protected this baby boy in the womb of Uttara. Srimad Bhagavatam describes that Krishna took his club, was circumambulating so fast inside the womb, putting off the fire, and protected this boy. And the boy, embryo, it saw, oh wow, there is somebody, I was supposed to be burned, but there is someone who has come here who is protecting me. The embryo understood that. But the baby didn't know who this is. So when he came out, he just kept looking, is this the person? Is this the person? Is this the person? Who is this person? Came to protect me. He was just examining everyone, whoever would come. Right? And that's how the name became Parikshit, because Pariksha in Sanskrit means examine. Right? Pariksha. He would examine, is this? Right? So he became Parikshit. Now, eventually Krishna left the planet along with all his associates, the entire Yaduvamsha, they all, Krishna decided to finish his Leela here in the earthly planet. When Arjuna and other brothers, when they understood that Krishna has left and their own time is also over, they decided that yes, it's time for us also to go. And they made Parikshit as the king. And when Parikshit was ruling, he was the emperor of the entire earth. So his kingdom, it was so righteous that there was no one place where there is adharma going on. So Srimad Bhagavatam describes that dharma stands on 4 legs. Stands on truthfulness, stands on austerity, stands on mercy, stands on cleanliness. These are the 4 legs of dharma. And Parikshit made sure that the entirety of the kingdom, they follow these 4 things. There is also opposite of this, which we perhaps will discuss next week. And eventually, Parikshit was one day, he was roaming in the forest, but somehow became singled out from his entourage. And he was so thirsty, he was so hungry, and somehow he happened to come in the hermitage of a sage. The custom was that when a king visits, you give him respect. Right? The custom is that whoever comes to house, you respect them. By default, you treat them like devatas. That's the custom. Especially when some famous people come, powerful personalities come, to give them special respect. That was the custom. So Parikshit is here, very hungry, extremely thirsty. This sage who is sitting, he has no idea what's going on. His name was Shamik Rishi. He had lost external consciousness in his meditation. Now we also meditate. It's hard for us to even focus for some time, and then our mind just runs away so many places, and it's hard for us. But there were sages who would sit for meditation, lost in transcendence. They have no external senses anymore functioning. Totally immersed in transcendence. So, the Shamik Rishi was like that. And Parikshit, it didn't matter to him like what the sage is thinking, what is he doing, because he is hungry. He's hangry, right? He's hungry and angry. He's so upset that the sage is not even giving him any place to sit and drink some water, fruits to eat. He was not expecting some huge feast. He expected something bare minimum. In absolute disgust, he just was walking away, and then he saw there is a dead snake. Just threw with his, he picked an arrow, just threw that snake on the head of Shamik Rishi and went away. And Shamik Rishi was still lost in transcendence. Eventually, his son Shringi, he got to know from other boys that, Parikshit, the king, he had walked into your hermitage. This is what he did. While going away, he threw the snake on your father's neck. And Shringi became so upset and so angry. How can a king who is a Kshatriya, is supposed to be respecting the Brahmanas, how can he perform action like this? I'm cursing this guy, Parikshit, now, and in 1 week, he will be bitten by the most deadliest of the serpents, by name Takshaka, and he will die, he'll be burnt into ashes in a week. Shringi gave the curse. And eventually, Shamik Rishi came out of his transcendence. He saw this dead snake, he threw it away. Then he learned his son has cursed Parikshit. Shamik Rishi was in so much of absolute sadness, because he knew what a personality Parikshit was. He felt that it was his duty to honor the king, because in the olden times they were not just kings, they were not just Raja. In English what we call as king. In Sanskrit is Raja. They were Raja Rishis. Raja plus Rishi. Rishi is a sage, a person who is dedicated totally to the spirituality. So these kings in olden times, so they were Raja Rishis. Parikshit was an absolute Raja Rishi. He made sure the entire kingdom follows dharma. So Shami really didn't mind that, in the heat of the moment, Parikshit ended up throwing a snake on his neck, but his son had already done the damage. And Shami was so sad. Didn't even have a face to go to Parikshit. So he sent a messenger. Please go and tell Parikshit, this is the situation. He's been cursed. Parikshit, on his way back, he was thinking that I have done an absolute horror. How could I do like this? Krishna worships Brahmanas. Namo Brahmane Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Krishna worships. Krishna always protects the cause of the cows and Brahmanas. How can I disrespect a Brahmana like this? So he was praying to Krishna in his heart, please, make sure that I get right reaction for my karma straight away. I don't want the karma to be coming later. I want the results to be coming right away. So I can prepare myself and accept it. So by the time he reached, he got the news that he's been cursed to die within 7 days by the absolute most poisonous serpent on the planet, Takshaka. As soon as he heard this news, he abandoned his kingdom, made his son as the king, Janamejaya, wears very simple clothes, went to the bank of Ganga. Thousands of people just started assembling there. All the sages, you name whomever, and they started coming there because Parikshit's birth was so glorious. So everybody was interested. Wow, the birth was so glorious. I want to know how this end is going to be. There is a curse now. What's going to happen? Everybody is interested to come and be a part. So they all came, they assembled. And Parikshit, after respecting everyone, he asked them 2 questions. I'm about to die now. I have 7 days. What should I do? I have 7 days. What should I do? What is the duty of a person who is going to die? I'm going to die. Second question was, because death is so interesting, I got to know, but usually people in general, they don't get to know when is death going to come. So it doesn't really make too much of sense if we just describe about the activity which one has to do when death comes, because usually death is uninvited. You don't get to know. So in that connection, then you need to really get to know then what you should be doing in general, right? So that you are prepared. The final moment is going to come anyways. And then all the sages, there was Narada Muni, there was Vyasadeva, every big sage, they were all there. But then they all chose, let us make Shukadev, the son of Vyasa, let us make him recite Srimad Bhagavatam. He was a young person, but in his realization, it's very, very solid. So they all made Shukadev as the speaker of this answer to these 2 questions. So Parikshit accepted Shukadev as his guru, gave him an asana to sit. He sat next to him and then started asking. And the conversation between them, whatever happened, is Srimad Bhagavatam. It's basically addressing the most important question of life. What should you do? What's your activity? What is that you should be doing so that you're always prepared? For the one question, what is your consciousness? Where is it invested? How do we make sure that that consciousness is aligned with Krishna? So Prabhupada referred it as Krishna consciousness. So that's Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll definitely discuss much more on that as time progresses and if we have more sessions. So for today, this is what I wanted to discuss. Any thoughts?
I would
questions? Yeah, there are different accounts for it. Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't specifically discuss all these things. Shuka means parrot, but Srimad Bhagavatam at least doesn't describe, what is his position. There may be other references elsewhere. Srimad Bhagavatam describes Shukadev as a person who was born to Vyasadeva and went to forest straight away. So that's where Srimad Bhagavatam's description of Shukadev starts. He was born as a son of Vyasa, went to forest straight away because he was already a Brahmajnani. His consciousness was fixed in Brahman, meaning that if he would arrive here, for him, there would be no difference. He would not see, oh, there is a flower pot here, oh, there is Nilambara sitting here, oh, there is Asmita here, he would not see any distinction at all. For him, everything is eternal truth, which is all pervasive. Right? That's what he would perceive. He was in that consciousness to be born. And he just went to forest straight away. And eventually in the forest, he heard the forest dwellers reciting a few verses which caught his attention. One of the verses was Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam, right? There is a person called as Krishna who is so merciful that he even liberated another lady who came to feed him poison. Right? So such merciful person. And the moment Shukadev heard this, became attracted. Oh, what is this? Who can be like this? Somebody is coming to kill you and you are making that person as your mother? Wow. He went and asked, whom are you addressing this to? Who is this person? I want to know more. And the forest dwellers told, please go and ask your father. He knows better than us. So he comes back home and gets to know the entirety of essence of what is Srimad Bhagavatam. And he goes around the universe, goes and meets Agastya Muni in Malaya mountains, goes to heavenly planets, meets the Devatas and other sages there. Then eventually on his travel he was coming, and then by the will of Krishna and will of the providence, he was walking in the place where now Parikshit is just asking everyone, I want answers to this. And everybody decided, here is a person. This guy, he can answer. Not that others were not knowing, but they were honored to hear from Shukadev. So, that's Srimad Bhagavatam's account. Okay? Any other thoughts?
Yeah, it's very interesting how you started with so much time, and how you were explaining the Puranas are so old.
Yes.
And the Manvantaras and everything. And then finally we came to a thing that happened maybe just 5,000 years ago.
Yes.
So that we can relate to it.
Yes.
Given that time gap.
Yes.
That you explained.
Yeah. It's huge. 4.32 billion plus, that's the day of Brahma, same amount of night. It's 8.64 billion years. It's quite a lot of time. Right? So, it's beautiful how Vedic tradition, we were discussing last week also, we just touched upon it. We don't look at a linear time, we look at a circular time. Right? Things happening in a cycle. There is no end. As the meaning of Purana, very, 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 very old. It's very old. Yeah, good. Any other thoughts?
I think last time there was a question about it, and I also have something like that in my mind today, because when you were describing that at the end when he only had 7 days.
Yes.
And then he took a journey.
Yes.
Live my life in that.
Yeah.
So, in this life, like in the current scenario in yoga, so how do we manage this, or is it something that we should do only when we have 7 days or towards the end of the lifetime? Because I feel like, for example, on weekends, and I don't have much to do, or if I don't make plans, and and I'm so much into meditation or something. It's very peaceful. And then I go to work on Monday. And sometimes it's so hard to focus because I was at peace on Sunday and then on Monday I'm focusing on fund transfer pricing.
Yeah.
And I just cannot focus and I feel like I
Yeah.
need weekend again to come back and then to get onto that peace. But how do you manage this? Because I understand that both the things are important, but when you get so much absorbed or invested in this, then you don't like anything else. So,
Very good. Answer next week. Because there are a few people who are asking about it. And we want them to be there. I hope they will come back next week. But in short, we need to really understand that it cannot be, and that was Parikshit's point also. You can't live 2 lives. It can't be 3 lives, 5 lives, 10 lives. This is my meditation life, my office life, my family life, my this life, friends life, enjoyment life, whatever. It cannot be like this. Right? That was the question of Parikshit. Because first he began with that question, what should I do? But then right away he realized that question is insignificant. It doesn't really have too much of weight. Because in general, people don't get to know. Right? So if something, let's just say that the perfection of life is for you to, I'm just making it up, okay? It's just hypothetical. Yeah. The perfection of life is, let's say, you need to lift this building. Yeah. That's perfection of life, let's say. Yeah. Just hypothetical, I'm just making it up, right? And you get to know about that when you are on the deathbed. And yeah, you need to lift the building. That was supposed to be the thing. But what can you do about it? Nothing. Right? So, it's just made up, of course. So that question is irrelevant, what one should do. Because unless you are, at least if you get to know, maybe you can make some plans, right? Okay, my life's perfection is lifting this building. What can I do? Yeah, start making some plans. Right? Maybe you can buy some machines which can do that for you. Yeah, make some arrangements. And then you can lift it up one day. So, if somebody gets to know about it in the last moment, what can you do, right? So now, what exactly is perfection of life, and how exactly we should do it? Yeah, that it's an intelligent conversation. Basically, it's a very logical conversation. Right? So Parikshit asked that as the first question: "What should I do? I'm about to die." But then he realized, that's a lesser significant question compared to what one should be doing while they are alive. So, because death is just a state of existence in which the scenario changes totally, right? Like 10 years ago, 14 years ago, I was in India, and the existence was in India. Your whole, your entirety of thought process, how you're functioning, what you're doing, and then from there I went to US. So your whole existence is there now. Right? You can't really do every single thing which you are doing in India, but you will also get to do something else which were not there in India. And then from there we came to Amsterdam, right? And again it changed. So you can't really do everything what you could do in US, but then there is something else which are new here. So death is like that, right? You change the scenario totally. Your friends change, your parents change, your whatever partners change, your everything changes. It's just that when I went from India to US and Amsterdam, I do remember everything, right? So in this change, most of the times you don't really remember what was the previous scenario, right? Like how exactly it happened, what all happened. Fortunately, we don't remember. Actually, fortunate you don't remember. If somebody killed Preeti in her last life, you would be, and if she knows about that, she would be living a disaster life right now. my God, this person killed me. So that memory is erased, more or less, at least for many people. So anyway, the point is that is just a change in scenarios. That is just a change in scenarios, and it can happen in any moment. The bigger question is, I don't want to be stuck in a situation wherein I just need to keep taking this birth and death and birth and death and birth and death and the change of scenarios again and again. I want to understand what is eternity. I don't want to be in a temporary situation in which I have temporary set of family, temporary set of friends, temporary set of mother, father, daughter, brother, whatever. Right? Doesn't matter. Everything is temporary. All the relations, everything is temporary. They are real, but they are temporary. Everything will change. So, how do we make our life in a way that we actually strive for eternity? It's not just temporary existence, temporary experiences. It's some serious thoughts. We'll keep discussing about it. Okay? In a sense, the answer is you can't live a fragmented life.
The true disciple relationship is eternal. We are this.
Yeah. There are eternal things. There are many eternal things. Right? You are eternal already. You're undergoing temporary experiences. Every living entity is eternal. Even an ant is an eternal living being. Right now it's having its circumstances are that of an ant. So you are an eternal living being. There's plants here, they're eternal living beings. Right now they're stuck in a plant's body. Right? So there is eternity, which we all are. We have lost that.
So we might meet each other.
Yeah, I mean, we're meeting now. Not the first time, it's not going to be the last time. Right? So, yeah. It's a bit hard to conceive eternity when we are stuck in temporary nature. But you always, every single life feels that they are eternal. They want to achieve it, they can't achieve it by mechanical processes. I can't just postpone death by mechanical process. I can try to put some nice herbs or nice chemicals or whatever to put the wrinkles away or keep myself in a young looking body, but eventually age will catch up. Eventually the teeth will fall apart. Eventually the ears will stop working. Eventually the eyes will stop working. The taste buds are gone. I can try to postpone the effects as long as possible, but eventually there is only one winner, and that's not us, right? So time will catch up and time will win. So as an intelligent person, I need to really seek then, how do I really get out of this cycle? I don't want to be in this cycle.
So what happened the second day? Did the snake into the spot and bite and what then? Did he get freedom from this?
Next time.
Oh, next time.
You need to keep coming. That is Srimad Bhagavatam's conclusion. Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, 12 skandha, and 12 divisions. First skandha is how we began last week with the sages asking questions to Grishava Sutta. The part of the stories I mentioned today about Parikshit, Ashwatthama. Eventually it gets over with Parikshit being cursed. And then second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. 12th canto is when eventually there's a conclusion. Okay, this is what happened. He heard for 7 days, 7 nights, no break, no eating, no sleeping, no nothing. 7 days, 7 nights. And quite literally 24/7. Right? We use that term 24/7. Parikshit quite literally, he heard Srimad Bhagavatam 24/7. And at the end of it, yes. Good. Want to share anything, Yoga Maya? No? Great.